A grandmother and her young grandson was walking along Half Moon Bay Beach when a wave of maverick appeared out of nowhere, sweeping the child out to sea. The horrified woman fell to her knees and raised her eyes up to heaven and begged the Lord to return her beloved grandson. And lo, another wave reared up and deposited this stunned child on the sand right in front of her. And the grandmother inspected the boy carefully. He was fine. But then she stared up angrily toward the heavens and yelled, "When we came, he had a brand new hat worth $30. The theme of today's gospel is gratitude. In particular, the expression of gratitude God expects from us. The gospel according to Luke tells us a story of a single non-Jewish leper, a Samaritan heretic, who returned to thank Jesus for healing him, while the 9 Jewish lepers went their way under the false impression that healing was their right as God's chosen people. They did not seem to feel indebted to Jesus or to God for the singular favor they had received. Instead, they hurried off to obtain a health certificate from the priest. "Where are the other 9? Jesus asked the Samaritan leper. And the crowd, "Did only one come back to say thank you?" If there is one sin that most prevalent today, it is the sin of ingratitude. God does so much for us. Our indebtedness to Him is enormous, and yet we rarely, or at least infrequently, offer thanks for what He has done. In fact, most professing Christians don't even offer thanks over their meals, much less offer thanks over all that God does in their lives. We are much like the little boy who was given an orange by a man. And the boy's mother asked, "What do you say to the nice man?" The little boy thought and handed back the orange to the man and said, "Peel it. Balatan mo." As a child, I was always taught by my mother to always say, "Thank you," whenever I received a gift or somebody did something good for me. For a child of God, thankfulness is not confined to a day or season. It is an attitude that we should have every day and every hour. I worked as a gate agent for United Airlines in 2000 until 2002. I just did an onboard announcement thanking the passengers for flying United, and that I am confident with their safety in the hands of the captain and the crew of the flight. As I was about to close the aircraft door, one of the first-class passengers said, "Thank you for for making us feel safe. So when I returned to the gate counter, my supervisor noticed a big smile on my face and said, "You must have had a good night's sleep with your wife last night." I said to him, "I just met God today inside the aircraft." Since then, while the passengers are waiting at the gate, I would take the microphone and sing, "I'm leaving on a jet plane, don't know when I'll be back again." Or the song, "I left my heart in San Francisco." Enthusiasm is contagious. A smile is contagious. If you go into your workplace with a smile on your face, full of life and joy, and I know Tricia doesn't agree with this, the whole place will come up to a higher level, and you will hear people thanking you for touching their lives with your positive attitude. Now, there's a difference between smile and a grin. Maybe you're thinking about grin. Grin is like a smile. Many times at night, as I cuddle my wife around my arms, I would whisper to her, "Thank God for giving me a wife so I don't have to feel alone." We must learn to be happy and thankful always, even just with a dog or a cat next to you in bed, or a pillow. Stop complaining. If you're not living in your dream house, but rather thank God that you have a roof over your head and pray for those without. You know, a woman was complaining that she and her husband don't have anything in common and that they don't get along anymore. Well, he may not be a perfect husband, but you can thank God that at least you have somebody to love. Do you know how many people are lonely today? Believe it or not, some women would be glad to have your husband. There are those who would wish they could marry Brad Pitt, or Piolo Pascual, or Father Leonard. For they carry the criteria of a man they are looking for. Now for the man, they wish they married Angelina Jolie or Angel Locsin. Be grateful for that man and that woman God gave you. We need to recognize that every day is a gift from God. Certainly we have had obstacles in our paths and challenges to overcome. But our attitude should be, thank God, I'm alive. I live in a great country. I have family and great partner. I have opportunity. So I'm going to make the most of this day and give it my best. Miracles happen everywhere. And every time, to everyone. You suddenly met someone who touched your life and guided you to the right direction. Someone just stood by next to you and said, "You are doing a great job. Thank you." We easily forget to recognize those as miracles. Over the past week, I have great reasons to thank God for enormous blessings I received. God surprised me in many ways, using wonderful people to show me other ways to reach out to others, to serve God among all others. The new Grand Master of California Masons, John L. Cooper III, a fellow Episcopalian, called me to serve the 60,000 strong Masons in California as a Grand Chaplain for 2013 and 2014. Since then, God opened a new door for me and expanded my duty to spread His love. I had a wonderful and inspiring breakfast with Envision Shelter last Thursday at the Hyatt Burlingame. Envision Shelter helps build a sustainable future for some of our most vulnerable families and veterans who have fallen on hard times and are now homeless. There was this young high school girl who spoke about her rising up from being in a shelter to become a promising writer one day. And she was awarded to attend the National Writers' Week in Washington, D.C. She has returned to permanent housing and self-sufficient life. That touched my heart. Many other people touch our lives in this place. I wish Jim Adams is here today. A quiet but loving man. He had touched every one of us in many different ways. I thank him for all the things he had done in this church and in every one of us. We give thanks for another miracle today with our vibrant children and youth choir. As you see them, let's give them a big hand. What a miracle! And thanks to the leadership of Carson Perez and our choir director, Saji Guillermo. And this choir member. God surprises us every time, and thanks be to Him. After being healed, the 9 lepers never went back to Jesus to thank Him for bringing them back again to life and the community. The outsider, the Samaritan, was filled with smile and gratitude, came back and said to Jesus, "Thank you for healing me." My prayer for us today is that God would give us a spirit of gratitude, that we would always focus on the good and never take life for granted. If you will trust God each day and live according to His plan for your life, you will be happier and healthier, and you'll rise higher than you ever imagined possible. At this time, I would like to thank you all, for all the time, the talent, the treasure, and the love you have shared for Holy Child in St. Martin. You've done so much for this church, and all who entered here. You've done it for God. May God reward us all more and more with a gift of gratitude. Amen.
Amen.
Let us all rise, and the words of the Nicene Creed, let us profess our faith. We believe in one God, the Father Almighty, maker of heaven and earth, of all that is seen and unseen. We believe in one Lord Jesus Christ, the only Son of God, eternally begotten of the Father, God from God, light from light, true God from true God, begotten and not made, of one being with the Father. Through Him all things were made. For us and for our salvation, He came down from heaven. By the power of the Holy Spirit, He became incarnate of the Virgin Mary and was made man. For our sake He was crucified under Pontius Pilate. He suffered death and was buried. On the third day He rose again, in accordance with the Scriptures. He ascended into heaven and is seated at the right hand of the Father. He will come again in glory to judge the living and the dead, and His kingdom will have no end. We believe in the Holy Spirit, the Lord, the giver of life, who proceeds from the Father and the Son. With the Father and the Son, He is worshipped and glorified. He has spoken through the prophets. We believe in one holy Catholic and Apostolic Church. We acknowledge the baptism for the forgiveness of sins. We look for the resurrection of the dead and the life of the world to come. Amen.
prayers of the people can be found on page 5 of your bulletin. We give thanks for the blessings our congregation has received, and for the continued financial support from the diocese and our givers, for God's blessing on those who celebrate their birthdays this week, especially those whom we may now name silently or aloud. We also give thanks for those celebrating their wedding anniversaries this week, especially those whom we may now name silently or aloud. We pray for the Philippine Association of University Women USA, Saturday Afternoon Club, EBAC of Northern California, Women's Saturday Bible Study Group, and Men's Saturday Bible Study Group. We continue to pray for the Episcopal Church Presiding Bishop, Catherine Jeffrey Story. We also pray of the Right Reverend Mark Hanley Andrus, our Bishop. And we continue to pray for the ministry of Father Leonard, Mother Lynn, Father Aaron, and Deacon Tricia, and the ministry of our Bishops' Committee and the leadership of our various ministries. We continue to pray for our Health and Wellness Ministry, the Bread for the World Ministry, our Santo Niño and San Martin Ministry, and our Latino Ministry. In the Anglican Cycle of Prayer, we pray for Tamale, Ghana, West Africa, the Right Reverend Dr. Jacob Ayibo, Bishop. In the Asia America EAM Cycle of Prayer, we pray for the Ethnic Ministry in the Diocese of El Camino Real, the Right Reverend Mary Gray Reeves, Bishop. We give thanks for the ordination anniversary of the Reverend Romeo R. Ragusa. In the World Council of Churches Cycle of Prayer, we pray this week for Bangladesh, Bhutan, Nepal, for a lessening of political unrest, violence, and terrorism, for political leaders that they will